Dr. Mindy Torres isn't just a local eye doctor. She runs a trendy boutique practice right here in Albuquerque, bringing a fresh take to eye care. But her impact goes far beyond her office. From local outreach to global missions, she's changing lives in powerful ways. Let's dive into her incredible story. So welcome, Dr. Mindy Torres, to Table Talks today. Honestly, I have been looking forward to this. You're one of my favorite people on the planet, and to have you on this podcast episode is a highlight for me. And for those of you who don't know, Mindy is my personal eye doctor, besides friend, and a lot of other things. We've been, building a relationship for a long time now, but I'm just glad you're here. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. It is a privilege and an honor, and you are a hero to me. I have been looking up to you since I met you probably 14 years ago. And so I've just been learning from you every step of the way, and it is a privilege to just have you in my life. So I'm so grateful.
You're sweet. I think when I first met you, I don't know when I can't remember exactly when I first met you, but there was a time that I was, hanging out or knowing you that you weren't practicing. So you're an optometrist, and I've said that in the opening, but you weren't practicing. You're taking some time off. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it's been a lot of different seasons since we've known each other, but there was a period of time that I was not working. I was focused on having babies, and I was in a season of marriage where at the time my husband had a business, and we were working on growing that and taking care of my kids. And I think when I first came out of school, I was very independent, and God taught me how to not be independent. So different seasons of life. Yeah.
Well, I mean, how did you, when you grew up, what made you think I want to be an eye doctor? I would like to be an eye doctor, but I'm not smart enough. So how did you decide to be an eye doctor?
I was a weird kid. I also grew up kind of in a family of entrepreneurs. And so I had one grandpa in particular who I think he just wanted to make conversation with me. I didn't talk a lot as a kid, and he was constantly asking me what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I didn't like being interrogated. And so I felt like I got to figure this out. So probably by the age of 5 or 6, it's interesting. I grew up in Socorro, and there was one eye doctor, and I think his name was Dr. Woodward. It's
Really?
So interesting. I know. I don't know if there's any relation, but I just observed a lot and really tried to figure out so I could give my grandpa an answer. And I decided that I wanted to be an eye doctor. And so, at a very young age.
I mean, that is just like, amazing to me that because a lot of little kids, they usually say teacher or firefighter or policeman, and you're like, eye doctor.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Where did you go to school, and tell me about your degrees and your certifications and all that good stuff.
Yeah, I was a little bit of an undergrad gypsy. I started out at New Mexico Tech, and I think like all teenagers do, I kind of questioned my calling. I was actually working at Sandia National Labs, had a great job, and I was pursuing computer science, and I absolutely hated it. And so I decided after a year of undergrad, I applied to Arizona State, where I specialized in salsa dancing for about a year and a half. And
okay. No, wait, you specialized in salsa dancing.
Yeah. Did you know that's a major at ASU? You could actually major in salsa dancing.
That's amazing.
So I was just salsa dancing every night. And by the grace of God, I got a job for an eye doctor part-time as I was salsa dancing. And this amazing doctor, I'll never forget her, Dr. Jennifer Medina in Goodyear, Arizona, really saw what God called in me. And she's like, you need to go back to school for optometry. And so after about a year and a half of salsa dancing, I figured I should probably do what I need to do. So I came back to UNM, got my pre-med, and then from there I went to Southern California College of Optometry in Orange County, California, and got my degree there. And so, yeah, and then I did a residency afterwards. I was actually supposed to go to Manhattan. I was accepted into a pediatric residency at SUNY, but my dad got ill. And so at the last minute, I changed my residency to the Veterans Hospital here in Albuquerque. And that's what led me to Copper Point Church at the time, was when I was in my residency.
Wow. And then, so the name of your business is called Salt and Light Eye Care, but so you did, okay, I got a lot to say. You started this practice by yourself, right when COVID, right in 2020, which you didn't know, but I mean, go back there, go to 2020 and tell me, why did you decide to go out by yourself? And why, how did all that transpire?
Wow. Whew, that's a lot. So I think it's just a lot of life experiences that I had. I took time off. I was also kind of working part-time for other doctors in my seasons of motherhood and trying to navigate life in general. And so I experienced different kinds of healthcare. I really loved serving surgeons. And so doing pre-op and post-op, I worked for a local surgeon here. His name was Dr. Bernitsky. I absolutely loved him, but he retired kind of like right before 2020 hit. And so he taught me a lot, but I also experienced a different way of healthcare. We did a lot of elective surgeries, such as LASIK, and I got to see a different side of healthcare that I had never seen before. A lot of common day, you get sick, you go to the doctor, and it's kind of rush, 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 rush. In elective surgery, it is you sit down, you talk, you plan, you really get to know your patients. Not to mention you experience this miracle of not being able to see and then see. So it's just a different kind of healthcare, which really inspired me to do something different in optometry. And then COVID happened, and I'm not sure how to verbalize that, but I can just say that when someone tells you you're not necessary or non-essential, it's not from God. And I decided I wanted to do a concierge practice, and I wanted to focus on the one person in front of me. And I wanted to give them all of my attention and love and care that I possibly could. And I wanted to do healthcare a different way. And so I packed my trunk and I started going to people's houses and giving exams. And so, yeah, it really did start out literally concierge. I was going to homes until I kind of met capacity there. I couldn't really see as many people as I wanted to. And so eventually I felt the Lord lead us to this spot that we're in now. And we still really tried to guard that and really keep it a one-on-one experience. I want them to feel like we're coming into their home, but I'm not anymore. It's just a little bit of a transition.
It's I mean, I love your office. It's in the center of Albuquerque in our city. And that's what I wanted to ask you, because I've talked about concierge, practice. So what sets that apart? What makes concierge practice different than a traditional practice? Because you have set yourself apart. You definitely have set yourself apart. I go there often, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly, and I love that. I'm the only person there. I love that. So tell me, what was your vision when you started that? And why are you different? Why did you want to be different? And why are you different? How are you different?
Well, for me, I really give all the credit to Jesus. I love the Lord. Jesus is my Lord and Savior. And so I learn from him and his word. And I have a few favorite verses in the Bible. One of them is salt and light in the book of Matthew. But there's another time in the Bible where he talks about leaving the 99 for the one. And that's my heart's goal. It's really hard in the world that we live in because it's such hustle and bustle and let's hurry and get this done. And honestly, I'm that kind of person. Like I love reading your cookbooks and part of the way you cook and when it says do something gradually and it's just like a joke between me and you and you're not even there. Like we don't do gradual. Like it takes energy and just some boundaries to say, let's stop, let's create some space to really get to know who's coming in and what their needs are. And a lot of it is really just getting down to the root of what's happening. And the body is so amazing in a sense that everything's connected. And I think a lot of times we just don't have the time to explain to our doctors or to really go through the detail of what's going on in our lives and how it's affecting our quality of life to get to the solution to the problem. And so it's just trying to make space for that one person and letting them know that they're valuable to me.
Your office, it's beautiful too. So you're upstairs, I know you know this, and view of the mountains, and it's so trendy looking. And I love this because the music is so beautiful and subtle, but it's, Christian worship music playing. Like you don't ever get there and feel conflicted. I don't. I love that. It's a very excellent experience and a sweet experience. I mean, I feel like people know who I am, obviously, because I go all the time. They know who I am, though, my family, not just you, but the people that work there with you are also, you have done such a good job in having people that mirror what you had, what you want for that place. They know how to reflect that and what you've taught them. So you do, Salt and Light Eye Care does eye exams, and you have the most trendy, cool glasses. I mean, like Tom Ford, and I mean, you have just all these, you have glasses that have little scripture references inside them. You can't see them, but they're there. I have 2 pairs of glasses from there. My husband has like 4 pair, and sunglasses. I mean, everything, but it's just beautiful. And you do open houses, but there's more than that. So I always thought an eye doctor just did eye exams and, you maybe go to a surgeon if you need surgery. And I do have, I mean, I'm old now. So now I have the beginning, I have this, that, and the other, and beginning cataracts and stuff, just dry eye. But your practice, I've never experienced that in all my years of going to an eye doctor, that there's more than just, but you said we're connected. So the health of our eye, there's so many other things. And so tell us, I want you to say in the great professional words, what other services do you guys offer at Salt and Light Eye Care besides eye exams?
Yeah, well, we have, it's interesting. You just kind of put yourself out there and you start doing business and people start coming to you for different reasons. And we've just sort of started specializing in dry eye. Um, Dry eye is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but it affects our quality of life and our everyday life. And it's been my experience, a lot of people are just taking eye drops or suffering through. They don't even realize that they're suffering through it. And for me, I experienced dry eye after LASIK. I had LASIK in California and then moving back. And it really does. Your eyes look red. You feel tired. You just want to close your eyes. It affects your everyday. And so I started thinking, well, what is the root cause for this dry eye? Like, why are we just putting drops and not asking questions? And we have had the privilege of treating with OptiLight and OptiPlus, which is the only FDA-approved light for dry eye. And it's a specific wavelength that helps treat the oil glands around the eye, and it fights inflammation. And so it's something called IPL, or intense pulse light. It's been around in dermatology for years. Like, it's a very common procedure, but it was recently developed for the eye, for dry eye, probably within the last 5 years or so. So I believe we were the first in Albuquerque to have this technology. So it's been a privilege and an honor to be able to provide that for our patients. I've seen, gosh, hundreds of patients at this point experience healing from OptiLight. So it's been great. And our partnership with the company Luminous has opened the door to just different technologies that, our eyes are connected to our skin, and the health of our skin affects how our eyes feel and vice versa. And there's been lots of studies that have shown even our gut is connected to our eyes and our diet. And, there's so much. There's so much. I could talk your ear off.
I love it so. And I do. I have had that treatment, and I currently have IPL and treatment for dry eyes. Matter of fact, this last Sunday, Mindy saw me at church and she said, "You need a treatment. You're blinking your eyes a lot." Because my eyes were dry. But when I came to see you, when I first started coming for and having you do dry eye treatment, my eyes, because I have a lot of allergies, my eyes itch all the time. And they were tired at night, hard to get my contacts out. And first of all, you switched me immediately to daily wear contacts. You said no more. I never slept in mine, but you switched that. But the so much has changed. Like I have not used for maybe a year and a half now, or a year for sure, any allergy drops in my eyes. You said you would get them if I needed them, but that I probably was not going to need them. And you gave me some little pure drops. But it's changed so much. So that treatment alone has changed so much. Plus, it kind of helps with the wrinkles and everything too. And then she just got a new, I call it a machine, but that's probably not what it is, but it does something called Tri-Lift. And honestly, they don't have a big enough head on it. Like I want my whole body done. My body needs a lift. It's almost 64. So I need a whole lift. But I get this done once a month on my face. And it like zaps you. I can't explain it, but it zaps your face. And it's like tightening your muscles in your skin and your face. It tightens them. So to help you say it in the doctor words, but let me just tell you, honest to goodness, people have asked I've done some lives to introduce the podcast recently, or like just little, hold my camera up. I don't know how to do a filter, so it's just me. And people have texted me, okay, what are you using on your skin? So I've always used good skincare. I pride myself that I've sold skincare. I still sell skincare. I love good skincare. The only thing I had changed was the Tri-Lift. That's the difference in the last few months. 6 months, maybe 4, is what's changed. So tell them about Tri-Lift. Oh my gosh, look how good I look.
You look so good. I love it. And I just want to emphasize, like, it's important to protect your investment, right? So good skincare goes hand in hand. So yeah, you don't want to cheap out on your skincare when you're doing these procedures. So TriLift is a dynamic muscle stimulation. And so what we do when we do our dry eye treatments is OptiLight with the light that helps fight inflammation and stimulate the oil gland. And then we do a radiofrequency treatment. That radiofrequency treatment is a scientific proven temperature to soften the oil glands. So this is going to sound really gross, but imagine like a really hard zit, right? You want to soften it before you express it. And so that's what the radiofrequency does. It kind of melts those oil glands, but at the same time, it's stimulating collagen at that same layer in the skin. And so you're getting that collagen stimulation while treating your dry eye. And so that is just your OptiLight OptiPlus treatment. The TriLift adds in with the radio frequency a dynamic muscle stimulation. And so it's stimulating the muscle as we're doing radio frequency. And so it's basically taking your face to the gym. So we're stimulating the muscle, and so we're tightening it every time we're doing your dry eye treatment, and it's building that muscle more and more every time you come. So it's naturally lifting those cheekbones, it's lifting the face, it is stimulating collagen at the same time, and your dry eye is going away. So it's kind of a trifecta win-win. I
love it. Y'all, I need to tell you, it's like going to the spa every time I get one of those treatments. Like, I don't want to get up from the chair. It's so relaxing, and everything else. It's just like I go to my car when I'm finished with all that, and I feel so relaxed. So it does all the things. Sorry. It does everything. And I don't know. I just love it. I'm gonna cough. What do you do when you cough on your podcast?
Well, you got a cough.
I have dry throat. What do you do for that?
Well, water's good. There you go.
Stimulate my neck. So, okay. Before we get, there's so much about you. You're so multifaceted and you do so many amazing things for people. And I want to get to all of it. But, so I know you've faced many challenges because you started a business when people weren't getting it out as much. And God's just been helping it to grow and grow and grow. And I think that because you offer such a wide range, you do an amazing eye exam, but you have great glasses and you fit contacts too, which is, everybody doesn't do that anymore. But just before we move on to the next subject, and I want to know, why did you name your business Salt and Light? Because you could have named it a lot of things, and you
Yeah.
chose Salt and Light. So what's behind the name?
Well, I'll tell you, when you love the Lord, there's just certain things you can't escape from.
Hey friends, I'm so glad you're here. If you're enjoying this episode, please take a second to subscribe.
And I actually had a different name that I had picked out that I had in my heart because this has been a dream on my heart for many years. It took me a really long time to have the courage to actually start the business. But at the time when I was applying for my license, I could not get Salt and Light out of my head. It was just Salt and Light. And okay, so finally I read Salt and Light in the Gospel, the book of Matthew, and I kept reading different versions and I got to the Message version. And when I read that, it was like everything just clicked. And I said, yes, sir. So it felt like it was my command to be what God called us all to be, the salt and light of the earth. And it really is kind of that's what my mission is. It's more than glasses and contacts. It's loving people and hopefully letting them know that Jesus loves them.
Which leads to my next point. And you give back to people every day when they come sit and, in that chair for an exam. I mean, you've prayed over my family while I've sat there. You've prayed for Brandon and Union City for their church to go through. You believed. You've stood with our family through so much. So I personally know what you do, but besides just in that office, your passion to give back is like, I don't even know that I know anyone that has a passion to give back like you do. You have taken that to another level in the last couple, 2 or 3 years. I know for sure through our church, Citizen Church, and also other avenues, but you have become involved in missions locally and globally. But what inspired you? So what inspired you, to take it outside those walls of your office?
Again, I was a weird kid. I wish I had a better answer, but I've always had the desire to travel since I was a kid. And I've always been that child who just takes off, where did she go? Um, so once I went on my first mission trip in optometry school, I went to El Salvador and I had the privilege of going with a medical team. And so there was just eye doctors, dentists, medical physicians. We all just went down there and went to different villages and served them. We also visited an orphanage. This was before I gave my life to Jesus. I was just being a servant. I fell in love with missions and I finally realized why I like to travel. I didn't really know, it just kind of throughout my life, I've learned why I do things. And I think everybody's different, but I've always had that desire to travel the world. And once I found missions, I knew that was a calling on my life. And so when I started Salt and Light, it just was a no-brainer for me. Like, this has to be a part of the business. It has to be. And so I really, really work hard so I can go on my next mission trip because that's really my passion.
You have a basket in your office that you take people's, like, the glasses they don't wear anymore. And if anybody hears this, I mean, take trendy glasses. Don't take ugly glasses, because we don't want to give ugly glasses to little children and people in our city or in another country. I feel like we should give our best, but that's another story. But you collect those because this first came to light to me a couple of years ago, you went to, I feel like Africa was is that the first place you did eye, or is it Mexico?
I actually went to Thailand with Citizen. That was,
Thailand.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
right. And you went, and so our church, Citizen Church, has missions endeavors in several, many countries. And you went to Thailand, and I think you borrowed, you can tell the story, but you borrowed this portable eye. At that point, we didn't have your own, I don't think, the eye exam machine.
Yeah, no, Thailand was a totally different, like, yeah, that's a whole nother. I don't know if you want me to go into that, but I didn't have any tools with me, and I went to pray into one of the homes in the slums, and there was a woman who had just had cataract surgery and was having tremendous pain, and I think had some sort of infection after surgery. And she literally had a bucket of eye drops, like a dirty bucket of water with drops in it. And I remember being angry at God because I didn't have, like, God, you sent me here and I don't have medicine. I don't have equipment. I didn't have anything with me. I was just going out there to serve in any way I could. And I heard God so clearly say that I didn't need anything. And so I just laid my hands on her and I prayed. I think Pastor Paul was with me, and um, we just laid hands on her and prayed, and she was healed. It was like I have trouble even verbalizing it. It's something I will never forget. But that was like God confirming, like, yeah, this is where I need to be. And after that, we started taking tools. Yeah.
I don't know what you call the machine. I know the next place you went, you maybe borrowed one, and then you were able to be gifted one. So when you go on these missions trips now, you take this little,
It's an auto refractor. Yeah.
yeah, and you're able to get their prescription. So tell us how that works. When you go anywhere overseas, or you go on a global mission trip, or even in Albuquerque, you've done some, things here. So how does that work?
Yeah, it's a pretty amazing piece of technology where it's kind of like a camera. You just have them look into this picture, and because of the way the light is reflected, we can actually measure their prescription literally with a camera shot. And so it really helps us to help a lot of people really quickly and effectively. And it's actually very accurate. And so this little auto refractor has been a tool of great blessing all over the world, even in our city. So
So
it's
you
been.
don't just go over there and tell them, oh, you don't see well. How do you fix that for them? What do you do when you travel?
So every place is a little bit different. My goal is to always get them a brand new pair of glasses. Like I want them to be able to pick out a frame and have fun and get new lenses that are just made for them. But there
And
are
let me
just
just interrupt for a second. We're talking the jungles of East Africa, far out in the bush. Like we're not talking, you've been far out in the bush, you've been to way down into Mexico, and then also in Albuquerque. But you're talking some of these places you go where there's nothing. Like these some of these children and people would never know what it was like to see.
yeah, yeah. They think that they're blind until they put these glasses on. So it's a privilege. It is such an honor to be there and gift them these glasses. But yeah, some places I have the capacity to order new glasses for them, and they get to pick a frame. There's certain places in Africa where I take some new glasses, but a lot of those donated glasses, I wish I could take the person with me that donated them, because sometimes there's like a random like -1 and a -6, and there's no way I could pre-order that. I would have never known that that was needed. But then all of a sudden it's there and someone donated it, and we are able to put them on, and they can see their eyes line up. It is such a privilege and an honor. But yeah, there's different scenarios. We use donated frames, and sometimes we order new ones, and we just try to do the best we can.
What kind of impact do you think that's had globally? What kind of impact the whole helping people see? Because you not only just help them to see, but you're there for a lot of reasons. We go because we want them to know Jesus, but bless them with a tangible blessing. So talk about that a little bit. What do you think the impact has been?
I have witnessed some probably of the hardest hearts that I've ever known soften right before my eyes. Um, there has been times where I think a lot of people are not sure about us doing what we do, and they can see the love that we give and they can see how we care. And by the end, they're asking questions. They want to know who Jesus is. They even ask for prayer. And so it's like a total softening of the heart. I think when we just show up and give and serve and love, people are open to hearing about Jesus. And you never know, we could save a life for eternity. Um, but it really does soften hearts.
Do you I mean, what do you feel like lessons you've learned personally when you go on
Mm.
these trips? So you don't like our church does a lot of missions trips, and you don't have to be an eye doctor to go. We do a lot of things, but I believe personally that God has gifted you and favored you to be able to do this. You have a passion and compassion for people. You work so hard to prep for these trips to get these donated glasses and to find out what the prescription is and to get them ready and cleaned up and take them. But what I mean, how has it impacted you? How have these trips impacted you?
Oof, that is probably a book of answers I could give you. I think my current season right now, I think every season it's taught me something dear to my heart. And every trip teaches me something new. I always become closer to God and learn something new. Um, but right now, I have to be very careful and always cleanse my heart and make sure that I have the right motivation. And I think it's very important for people to know that you don't have to do things to earn the love of Jesus. Like, I'm not doing this because I want to earn anything. I'm doing it because he loved me. He saved my life. And I think that's kind of what my heart's been on recently. And having boundaries, not doing it to please people or for the love of God. We already received that love. And so, yeah, I think that's kind of where my heart is right now. But every trip, every season, it has grown me and taught me so much. It really, really makes me a better person, a better doctor, a better mom, a better business professional. It it really, really does grow your capacity in different ways in communicating and serving. Yeah, I don't know. It's really hard to express other than it changes you. Yeah.
It really does. Trips like that are life changing. And even in our own community, when we have, you know, in endeavors in the community of Albuquerque, the city of Albuquerque, for outreaches for, people that may not have access to certain things like good eye care, or to be able to get new glasses that are actually their prescription or
Right.
whatever. I mean, you've done that also here, and you do that here on our churches serve days, other churches serve days. You're willing and to help, so much. And I've just watched it over and over. I said it a moment ago, but I really don't know anyone that's as giving as you. It's just pretty unbelievable. And so I believe that that's why God has blessed your business and continues to bless it, because you've been so, your heart is to help people first. And then, you do it through the avenue of being an eye doctor. And boy, this time goes by really fast on a podcast, doesn't it?
My
It's
gosh, it does.
fun. I just
Well,
want
and
to,
it's you. I could talk to you all day.
I know, and I love it when I come see you and I get to talk to you. I have one more question to end on with you. So people that are listening or, happen to watch that, we're going to end on this whole making a difference around you, because I think that's something we can all do, even if we're, not a doctor or not a teacher or whatever. But what's one step you would say to encourage the listeners that could make a difference around them or in their own community or globally? What can one person really do?
I think just making space, um, and just, it sounds corny, but opening your eyes to see who's around you and taking time. I think even if I mean, sometimes you're just in line at the grocery store and we're scrolling our phone. Sometimes there's a young girl behind you that might need encouragement, or um, you know, a young mom that might need help with her groceries. I think it's just, we get so caught up in the day to day. I think for all of us, I need that reminder too, just to make space to love someone or encourage someone.
I couldn't agree more. I'd say a big yes to that because we are rushed. We're in a hurry and creating space. I mean, first for God and then for people. And then I think it helps the rest of our life kind of fall into place because that's, kind of a biblical mandate to love him first and then love others around us. And you really do that so well. I want to just end by reminding people, I mean, of course, I'm a little biased, and I feel like if people are in the surrounding community or not, I mean, you have people come to town and get their eyes treated here. They come in, they fly in, they drive in from all over the country to have you to treat them, and I think that's amazing. And so, if you're anywhere in the area, in our area in Albuquerque, I really invite you to check out Salt and Light Eye Care. But I mean, for more than just eyes, but to get to meet Dr. Mindy, but also all the other face stuff. I mean, I feel like I won the lottery when I found you because I get so much more than just good eye care, and I really believe that. Our family loves you, our community loves you, the people in Africa and Thailand and Mexico. And if we can ever get back to Haiti, I know that we'll be there doing the same thing. And as God opens up doors to be able to help people to see in the physical, but then they can see also be able to open up their eyes spiritually too. Mindy, thank you, Dr. Mindy, very, very much she's at work today. She took time out of her busy work schedule to come say yes to be on this episode. And I cannot wait until people get to see this and hear it. And I think it's going to encourage them, hopefully, to step outside ourselves and to be there for other people. Thank you. Thank you.
I love you so much. Thank you for the privilege and honor.
Thank you for being on today.
You're the best.
Thank you for joining me today on Table Talks. For more content and information about upcoming episodes, please visit my website at kwoodward.com. You can also explore other podcast links and resources there. Until next time.